Hello, it's April from April's Home, and today I'm here to share with you my recipe for apple bars. This recipe is definitely one of my favorites, and it is very, very easy. You will need some apples, enough to peel and then grate into 3 cups of apples. You'll need sugar, flour, 2 sticks of butter, 2 eggs, and cinnamon. And I will go ahead and share with you the amounts of those ingredients as I go ahead and prepare this. You will also need a 13 by 9 inch baking pan. And to start off with, I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to start peeling and grating my apples so that I have 3 cups of grated apples in a bowl. Okay, so I've grated roughly 3 cups of apples here. You can see this red flesh apple here. That's a variety that I got at the farmer's market. And you'll notice also in the bottom of this pile of shredded apples, a lot of juice is kind of collecting in the bottom from the shredded apples. I do like to drain that off before I use it in this recipe so that the filling isn't too wet. So I'm going to go ahead and drain that and then add some sugar to this, and I'll be right back to show you the next step. Okay, so I have drained out all the liquid from those apples. It made almost a cup full of nice fresh pressed apple juice, which I will strain and probably drink later. And now I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar to this mixture. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm going to go ahead and toss this together just like so, just until they're all thoroughly coated, and then I'm going to set this aside and start my dough. Okay, so I have put 1 cup of sugar in my mixing bowl here, and I've softened 2 sticks of butter in the microwave. 2 sticks of butter equals 1 cup of butter, and you can see that I've almost melted the butter here. Not all the way melted, but pretty close. It just makes it so much easier to blend together. So I'm going to put that in with the sugar and use my electric mixer to blend that together. So I'm just going to blend this together until it's thoroughly blended together. Okay, so the butter and sugar are all blended together, and now I'm going to add 2 eggs to this and mix that up as well. Okay, so now the eggs are all blended into my sugar and butter, and I'm going to add 2.5 cups of flour. And then I will blend that all together, and that is the dough. So I'll be right back to show you what that finished dough looks like. Okay, so I have my dough all mixed together. You can see what a simple dough this is. It's just flour, sugar, butter, and eggs. Now I'm going to take half of this dough and spread it on the bottom of my 9 by 13 pan. So I have gone ahead and sprayed my 9 by 13 inch baking pan with a little bit of cooking spray so that I'll be sure that my apple bars don't stick. So now I'm going to go ahead and spread half of this batter into my baking pan. Okay, so about half of the batter is spread into the bottom of my 9 by 13 inch pan. You can see it's not a really thick layer here. You could probably add a little more or less to make sure that you can cover the bottom of your pan. Just make sure that you leave plenty to top this with. So now I'm going to add my apples all across this layer here, and again, those apples have been sweetened with their 3 tablespoons of sugar. So now I'm going to go ahead and spread my sugared apples over the top of this batter here. So I have all of my apples spread out over my dough. I think it's so pretty with that red fleshed apple worked in. Of course, most of the time I just use regular apples, and by the way, any apples will work for this. I've literally used any combination of apples that I have on hand. If the only apples I have on hand are very tart ones, I might add a little bit more sugar. These were nice and sweet apples, the majority of them. So this layer is all ready, and now I'm going to take the rest of the batter and drop it by spoonfuls all over the top here, so we get sort of like a crumbled looking topping here with a bunch of dollops of dough covering the whole top of this. So I'm going to go ahead and add the dough to the top and come back and show you what that looks like. So I've dropped the rest of my dough by spoonfuls all over the top here, just to kind of get them evenly distributed. I will probably use my spoon to kind of spread these around and get them make sure that they're evenly over the top and maybe connected in a few spots. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, I have this dough all spread out over the top like I want. One thing, however, that you'll notice is a bit of apple has come through. That's because I forgot the step where you add the cinnamon to the top of the apples. So before you put this layer on, you sprinkle a fine layer of cinnamon over the top of your apples so it'll be nice and cinnamony, and then you put this topping on. I was able to just pluck these off and put down my cinnamon, so it should turn out fine. I have actually done that in the past as well, so it's just a step that I often forget. So definitely after you put your apple layer on, add your cinnamon, just a sprinkle over the top of your apples. They'll kind of, the spice will mix right in as it bakes. And now it's all ready for the oven. So I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to go ahead and bake this for 35 to 45 minutes. I will probably check this at 35 minutes, and I'm looking for it to be nice and golden brown. Okay, so here are my apple bars out of the oven. You can see they're a light golden brown, a little bit more of a golden brown on the edges here. They are sizzling hot, so I'm going to go ahead and let these cool for a while, and then I will cut them in squares and put them on a serving tray. So this is what the apple bars look like when they're cut into squares. We've eaten some already for dessert. You can see here the layer in the center of the apples, which really lightens up this dessert quite a bit. It's a very buttery crust and topping, and it's really, really good. So those are my apple bars. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at my apple bar recipe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe for more videos from April's Home. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.